As a group, we sat in on an Overeaters Anonymous meeting on a Sunday night at St. John's Episcopal Church. Overeaters Anonymous has permission to use the 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous for adaptation granted by AA World Services, Incorporated.
1. Our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon OA unity.
For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern.
The only requirement for OA membership is a desire to stop eating compulsively.
Each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or OA as a whole.
Five, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the compulsive overeater who still suffers.
An OA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the OA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose.
7. Every OA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions.
Overeaters Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers.
9. OA, as such, ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve.
Overeaters Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the OA name ought never be drawn into public controversy.
7. Our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, films, television, and other public media of communication.
Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all these traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities.
In the next clip, we'll show you the structure of an Overeaters Anonymous meeting and how each Anonymous meeting begins.
Welcome to the November 1st, 1 p.m. meeting of Overeaters Anonymous. My name is Hannah. I am a compulsive eater and your leader for this meeting.
Will those of you who wish to join me in the serenity prayer?
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.
As we extend the heart and hand of the OA fellowship to those who still suffer, let us be mindful of OA's unity with diversity policy, which respects our differences yet unites us in the solution to our common problem. Whatever problem you may have with food, you are welcome at this meeting, regardless of race, creed, nationality, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or any other trait. Are there any compulsive eaters here besides myself? Is there anyone here for the first, second, or third time? Would you please tell us your first name so we can welcome you? If you're returning OA or are visiting from another area, please tell us your first name so we can also welcome you. We encourage you to get a sponsor to help your recovery, develop a plan of eating if you wish, write it down, and report daily to your sponsor, and read OA-approved literature to develop a working knowledge of the 12 steps and 12 traditions.
The following is the OA preamble. Overeaters Anonymous is a fellowship of individuals who, through a shared experience, strength, and hope, are recovering from compulsive overeating. We welcome everyone who wants to stop eating compulsively. There are no dues or fees for members. We are self-supporting through our own contributions, neither soliciting or accepting outside donations. OA is not affiliated with any public or private organization, political movement, ideology, or religious doctrine. We take no position on outside issues. Our primary purpose is to abstain from compulsive eating and compulsive food behaviors and to carry the message of recovery through the 12 steps of OA to those who still suffer.
Binge eating disorder is defined by nationaleatingdisorders.org as a severe, life-threatening, and treatable eating disorder characterized by recurrent episodes of eating large quantities of food, often very quickly and to the point of discomfort. This is otherwise known as compulsive overeating. Binge eating disorder is the most common eating disorder in the United States, affecting 2.8 million U.S. adults. It often begins in the late teens or early 20s, is twice as common in women than in men, and is observed across all ethnicities. It is a newer eating disorder. Revisions were made to the diagnostic criteria in the DSM in 2013, and this is significant because it allows insurance companies to cover treatment for binge eating disorder, whereas they could not before the revision without a proper DSM diagnosis. Binges are often caused by emotional triggers such as depression and anxiety, causing one to use food as a coping mechanism and can lead to weight gain. Binge eating is described simply as having recurring episodes of binge eating. These episodes occur when one eats a significantly larger portion of food than the average person would eat in a discrete period of time. They may also occur when one eats much faster than normal, eats until they are uncomfortably full, eats when they are not hungry, eats alone, feels a lack of control while eating, or experiences feelings of guilt or depression after eating. Binge eating must occur at least once a week for at least 3 months in order to be considered a disorder. It is not associated with other behaviors such as purging, only binge eating. The exact causes are unknown, but the disorder is thought to be caused by biological factors like hormone irregularities or genetic mutations, psychological factors like, for example, there's a strong correlation between depression and binge eating, also body image issues and low self-esteem, or social cultural factors like traumatic situations, sexual abuse, social pressures, media, or facing criticism about one's body. Some complications that can arise from binge eating disorder include cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, insomnia, hypertension, and muscle or joint pain. Studies show that 3.5% of women and 2% of men have experienced binge eating disorder during their lifetime, making the disorder 3 times more common than anorexia and bulimia combined. Those that suffer from binge eating disorder should seek professional treatment from psychiatrists, nutritionists, or other therapists, because they can offer programs that focus on identifying underlying issues causing binge eating disorder.
Bulimia is another eating disorder. It is medically termed bulimia nervosa. It is an eating disorder that involves the consumption of large amounts of foods in a short time period, followed by the feelings of guilt and shame. It is distinguished by spells of excessive and secretive eating, followed by self-purging, the overindulgence in exercise, and the abuse of laxatives and diuretics. Risk factors for developing bulimia include major body and life role changes that lead to stress, genetics or family history of eating disorders, past abuse whether physical or sexual, early start of menstruation for females, past weight problems, body image problems, depression, anxiety, wanting to be perfect, OCD, and past substance abuse. Risk factors that increase your risk for bulimia include 1. Being female, because women and girls are more likely to have it than men and boys. 2. Age. Those who are in their late teens and early adulthood are more prone to eating disorders such as bulimia. 3. Biology. Genetic link to eating disorders, a possible deficiency of serotonin in the brain, and being overweight as a child or teen. 4. Psychological and emotional issues such as anxiety or low self-esteem. And 5. Media and pressure from society. Body image shaming in the media and making people believe that thinness equals success and popularity. The cause of bulimia is unknown. Though there are many factors that play a role in the development of bulimia, such as biological makeup, emotional health, and societal problems, just to name a few, the exact cause is not known. Signs and symptoms include living with the fear of gaining weight, obsessing over your body and your weight, excessively eating until the point of pain and discomfort, forcing yourself to vomit and exercise too often to keep from gaining weight, overusing laxatives and diuretics after eating,
restricting calories and avoiding certain foods that contain nutrients, using dietary supplements for weight loss, having damaged teeth and gums from the acidity of the vomit, not wanting to eat in public or in front of others, and even going to the bathroom right after eating or even during a meal. Statistics show that bulimia can affect any gender, ethnicity, or socioeconomic group. The lifetime prevalence of bulimia in the U.S. is 1.5% in women and 0.5% in men. Approximately 4.7 million females and 1.5 million males are potentially threatened by bulimia in the U.S.
NationalEatingDisorders.org defines anorexia nervosa as an eating disorder characterized by weight loss or lack of appropriate weight gain in growing children, difficulties maintaining an appropriate body weight for height, age, and stature, and in many individuals, distorted body image. The NEDA is the National Eating Disorders Association. Those with anorexia usually restrict their calorie intake and the types of food they eat. To be diagnosed with anorexia, a person does not have to be overweight. NEDA states that people who have larger bodies can also have anorexia, however, they may be less likely to be diagnosed due to cultural prejudice against fat and obesity. Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders states in order to be diagnosed with anorexia nervosa, the following criteria must be met. 1. Restriction of energy intake relative to requirements leading to a significantly low body weight in the context of age, sex, developmental trajectory, and physical health. 2. Intense fear of gaining weight or becoming fat even though underweight. 3. Disturbance in the way in which one's body weight or shape is experienced, undue influence of body weight or shape on self-evaluation, or denial of the seriousness of the current low body weight. Even if all DSM-5 criteria for anorexia are not met, a serious eating disorder can still be present. Young people between the ages of 15 and 24 with anorexia have 10 times the risk of dying compared to their same-aged peers. Males represent about 25% of individuals with anorexia nervosa, and they are at a higher risk of dying, in part due to the fact that they are often diagnosed later since many people assume males don't have eating disorders. An ongoing study in Minnesota has found incidence of anorexia increasing over the last 50 years only in females aged 15 to 24. Incidence remains stable in other age groups and in males. Eating disorder symptoms are beginning earlier in both males and females, with agrees with both formal research and clinical reports. The NEDA helpline is available Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Helpline volunteers are trained to help you find the information and support you are looking for by phone, email, live chat, or text message. Contact the helpline for support, resources, and treatment options for yourself or for a loved one. Eating Recovery Center, the Carolinas, is an eating disorder treatment clinic in Greenville, South Carolina, specializing in ACT, DBT, CBT, individual therapy, family therapy, experiential therapy, and nutritional therapy for adults and adolescents, male and female.
Now, would you describe yourself as too heavy, too thin, about right?
Too thin.
Too thin? But yet, you don't want to gain any weight?
Correct.
Okay.
But what if you start to overdo it with physical activity and it takes over your whole life? Well, then exercise may not be so good. This is Aaron's story.
My name is Erin, and I am addicted to exercise. I exercise 8 hours a day. I never get tired. I don't get sore. I'll cancel plans. I'll cancel appointments. It's been controlling my life. I just can't stop.
Factors that contribute to the development of an eating disorder: family history, genetics, social factors, other psychological disorders like anxiety, OCD, and PTSD.
Each eating disorder patient is different and their behaviors have varying etiologies. Programs and treatments offered by the health center: counseling, dietitians, social workers, and psychiatrists. Advice to build a healthy relationship with food: slowing down and savoring meals, eating mindfully, listening to your body, and considering your food choices.